The webinar started and we're live to YouTube. We're good on Zoom's end. Stacy, do you need to be the co-host?
Yes, please. All right, folks. Okay. Good morning. I am going to call today's Public Safety and Health meeting, committee meeting to order. Today is Wednesday, October 21st. As you all have probably figured out, we are still continuing to meet virtually, but have no fear. There are still lots of ways for folks to contact council members as well as give public comment. A good way to find out all of this information is to visit the city website at www.ci.missoula.mt.us/webcasts, where you will find the links to sign up to participate for all of our meetings, as well as the ways to continue participating to call in to our meetings. You can also at any time send the entire council a email, and our email address is council@ci.missoula.mt.us. You can also at any time leave a voicemail for the entire council, and that phone number is 406-552-6012. And that goes out to all council members. This meeting is being broadcast on that web page that I referenced, as well as YouTube, as well as MCAT channel 1 or Spectrum TV channel 190. So those are the ways to get in touch and participate in the meetings. If you are on today's meeting and want to give comment, if you're signed in using the Zoom webinar link, you can just go to the raise your hand button in the participants corner. Or if you are dialing in using a phone number and you want to raise your hand, press *9 and it will give the little signal for us to raise your hand. So today's agenda item is a continuation of consideration of the ordinance to Missoula ordinance to ban flavor tobacco. Today is just an opportunity for us to continue to hear from the public on this. We want to give the opponents of this ordinance an opportunity to speak. So I do not see, okay, so I'm going to allow Mr. Brad Longcake to come into the meeting and start us off. He has the industry representative, and he has several members of the committee who would like to chat with us. So how I'm planning on laying out today's committee is I'm going to give Brad and his folks 40 minutes to engage in a dialogue with us council members. And then I will open up the remaining 20 minutes for general public comment. And that general public comment will keep to the 3-minute mark on things. But this is an opportunity for us to ask questions of the participants that Mr. Longcake has, and to find out a little bit more as we consider this ordinance. So that is going to be how today is going to flow. I do need to make sure to take attendance of us council members who are here. So it looks as though I am here, and Councilwoman Becerra is here, Councilmember Antos is here. Okay, I'm going to try to do this in alphabetical order. So Miss Harp here. I don't see her. Okay. Councilmember Hess is here. Councilmember Jones is here. Councilmember Merritt is here. Councilmember Ramos is absent. Councilmember Cheryl, oh, there you are, is here. Councilwoman Vasica is here. Councilmember Brian Brian von Lossberg is here, and Councilwoman West. So that is who we have in attendance. I do see right off the bat a couple of council members have raised their hands, so I will, Miss Becerra, did you have an, would you like to
I just wanted to, I wanted to point out, thank you. I wanted to point out that we have health department, city and county health department staff in case there are some specific questions for them. I know that Arwen, who gave the presentation, only has until I believe 9 a.m. to join us. So if there are some specific questions, I would really encourage you and council to direct them to her early on rather than later. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much. Miss Visica. Sorry, I had enough coffee. My mouth is not working right.
Thanks. I wanted to discuss the legality of this. Seeing that Mirta said that one of the members is only here until 9, I can wait to discuss that, but that is something I really want to talk about during this Public Safety and Health Committee. Should I do that now, or can we do that after some of the public comment?
Let's do that after the public comment. And I do believe that in the meantime, I will send an email to Mr. Nugent to see if he can join us. But we also will have an opportunity to email with him between now and then, and we will be discussing this again on Monday night as well. So
okay, I just wanted to talk about Mr. Nugent's his legal opinion of this and how it is illegal to put this ordinance on. So as long as we'll have time to talk about this at the end of the meeting, then I'd be happy to wait.
Perfect. Sounds great. Yes. Okay, Ms. Becerra, your hand is still up. Is that because I didn't lower it? Okay, sounds great. Okay, so I'm going to hand this over to Mr. Brad Longcake to give a presentation. He has asked a few industry folks to join him, and we will start from there. Mr. Longcake, are you with us?
Yes. Thank you, council members, for giving us the opportunity again to come and speak with you this morning. Again, just for the record, my name is Brad Longcake. I'm the director for the Montana Petroleum Marketers and Convenience Store Association. I represent all the stores across Montana, or the majority of them across Montana. And we have roughly 125 to 130 members, and we employ about 16,000 people across the state. So as you heard from previous meetings, obviously this is a very emotional decision that you're approaching into, and that both sides are very passionate. I think it would be best if you heard from some of my members. So I would like to maybe have an opportunity at the end just to quickly summarize some of the comments, but I would like to allow our members that are online to at least give you their perspective as an owner, why they feel like this might not be the best approach. So if you would indulge me to allow the rest of our members to speak, I think that would have more impact until I have a chance at the end.
Okay, so Mr. Longcake, do you happen to, there currently in the audience, there are 40 people. I can't imagine they're all your members, and 9 of them have their hand raised. And do you happen to know the names or the phone numbers? I'm going to ask this for those folks who are in the audience, and you will have plenty of time to speak. But if you are one of the folks that Mr. Longcake has specifically asked to join us, keep your hand up. If you are not, I would appreciate you lowering your hand at this point in time. And then as soon as we get to public comment, pop those right back up. So if everyone who, I'm guessing Mr. Moralt is one of them, so I'm gonna let him in to speak, but for those,
Correct.
Everyone else, okay. So we're gonna start there, because currently, do you happen to know, Mr. Longcake, how many members you have joining us today?
I think we have around 10 to 15. It's hard to tell. A lot of people were doing their morning rounds at their businesses, so they're trying to jump on as soon as they can, but I'm guessing somewhere in between that 10 and 20 mark, if everybody is able to participate.
Great. Okay. All right. Well, I'll start letting them in. And for those folks who also attended our Monday night and gave comment, if you could give different comment, because that is already on the record. So if there's something that you did not have an opportunity to expand upon, or details you want us to know that you did not provide in public comment on Monday night, this would be the opportunity. But given the how many people want to participate, if you could not repeat the comments from Monday night, we would appreciate it. Mr. Maralt, you should be able to unmute and join our meeting.
Okay, can you hear me all right, Stacy?
We can, yes.
Very good. Thank you. And thank you for the time. Thanks for the additional time to give feedback. I wasn't able to make the Monday time. Thank you. And I'm a longtime Missoula member since 1975, second generation business that's affected Maralt's Travel Plaza in this area. I also own business in the Missoula city. And we can support many Missoula causes. Many of them have to do with youth, Watson Children's Center flagship, YMCA, all those different kind of youth things. I'm very much a youth-oriented person. Personally, don't like tobacco, and I'm a father of 3 children myself that grew up in this, and they're teenage years now. So yes, it involves the vaping thing affects me personally as well, and have had direct involvement with it. Not so much tobacco, but you know, it's not so long ago that Missoula was an old logging town, and that only gets us so far. But I just believe that this is an overreach, and I think the retailers and industry have been doing a good job, yes, as it should be, with some encouragement of government, mostly federally. But, you know, I think we're doing a dang good job. There's been a lot of changes. There's not very many failures on Sting, which we all take incredibly seriously, I hope, but we certainly do out at Maralt's Travel Plaza. But we're doing pretty good in that regard. And it's just for people not to be able to get these legally available, these legal products in Missoula County, it's to me, more as a retailer, it's a consumer rights and a personal rights thing that some folks can't access these products locally and would have to go out of market to go get these products. And hopefully they're using them responsibly. And I can't imagine that there wouldn't be a black market that would be created in this situation, or a illegal market for these. Right now, we're controlling that through the retailers by only allowing them for age 21. And of course, 21 just went up recently. But it's just, I get really concerned about how slippery of a slope that we have to now restrict products that somebody might deem aren't good or safe. Obviously, there's plenty of products out there that people misuse them, that it's not good for them, including dancing, because you can sprain an ankle when you're dancing. So hopefully we don't outlaw dancing sometime soon. But and I likewise am concerned about the legality of a locality to further control this. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Maralt. I'm going to leave you in the queue, but I'm going to mute you in case a council member has a specific question for you. Is that okay?
Sounds good, yeah.
Thanks. Okay, next up, I see it's phone number ending in 665. You should be allowed, you've been allowed to the meeting, and you can unmute.
Yes, I've tried to lower my hand. This is Thomas Bryant that testified Monday, but there's no combination of keys on the phone pad to lower your hand. So you can just put me back in the queue for public comments, please.
Thank you for flagging that, and we'll figure that out for next time. Okay, so Greg Tavish.
Can you hear me?
We can, yes.
All right. Good morning, all council members and attendees. My name is Greg Tavish, for the record. I'm owner of Great Western Petroleum. We are a wholesale fuel distributor and convenience store operator. I am in opposition to the ordinance. We in the community are active supporters. We contribute to over 20 different organizations and take pride in being a valued community member. We operate 3 stores within the proposed ordinance's boundaries. We distribute to several within the boundary as well. We have all tobacco products behind the counter in a non-self-service format. Our point of sale systems will not allow any tobacco or beer sales to proceed until valid ID is presented. We're selling all beer and tobacco products that are legal and to people that are 21 and older. The intention of this ordinance is to stop the sale of flavored tobacco products to teens. The reality is we are not selling these products to them in the first place. Our industry is the gold standard for responsible sales. So there are several unintended consequences that will happen if this ordinance is passed. First, there will be a massive shift in flavored tobacco products sales to stores outside the affected area. Secondly, stores inside the area will suffer all sales, including gas, beer, pop, prepared food, as well as the tobacco. Traffic patterns will change and employees and tax base will be lost. Stores outside the ordinance's reach will flourish with increases of 4 to 5 times current sales levels. What will be lost is the freedom of choice for all legal, law-abiding citizens and adults when it comes to their favorite legal flavored tobacco product. We will not solve the problem of keeping flavored vapes and tobacco out of the hands of teens. What we will do is pick winners and losers when it comes to commerce. Teens who have adults buy these products for them and knowingly breaking the law will continue to get these vapes and flavored tobacco from sources such as the internet and all other retail sources outside the affected area. I would urge you to not vote for this ordinance, and thank you very much for your time and have a great day.
Thank you, Mr. Tabish. I am going to, as the same with Mr. Maralt, leave you in the queue for if any council members have questions for you, if that's okay.
Sure, that'd be great.
Because I do have a couple questions for you, but I'm going to let other people speak first.
You bet.
Okay, great. Moving on. Phone number ending in 028. You've been allowed into the meeting and should be able to unmute.
Hello, Council. I think I'm unmuted now.
Yes, you are.
Can you hear me? All right.
We can.
This is Dan Beard, District Manager for Town Pump. Want to start off by saying thank you and good morning to the Council. Town Pump in the Missoula area employs approximately 200 convenience store employees. This ban will have a significant impact on our local business overall. Customers who choose to purchase their now if this ban goes through, the banned items outside the city limits will take their gas, snacks and beer sales, other merchandise sales with them, food bank donations with them. This could cost our local stores at least 30% in lost revenue. Our sales determine our labor budget. Less sales means less labor hours to use. We take carding very seriously. I personally am a responsible alcohol sales and service state certified instructor, and we go over alcohol and tobacco sales all the time. And I've personally trained over 300 to 400 people in the area in proper carding. Each transaction at the register prompts the cashier to see an ID on all age-restricted items that include both alcohol and tobacco. Cashier must scan the ID or enter it into the system in order to proceed. Then our managers review age-restricted transactions on a daily basis. We believe in positive reinforcement. We reward employees for passing compliance checks. We passed 100% of the compliance checks that happened this weekend, and I believe the other night there were several other members of our community who said that they passed the same thing. I've been with Town Pump for 6 years. I can't remember the last time. I'm not even sure if we have failed one in that time as far as our local area goes. We also have quarterly drawings in which we reward entire locations. The company gave our local Bonner location $2,500 earlier this year, and that was distributed amongst all the employees for putting such a great effort into keeping tobacco and alcohol out of the hands of minors. Town Pump has a zero tolerance policy for underage sales. Any violation results in termination. When the minimum age was raised to 21 this year, it took some of the risk out of that then high school age person who would get these products and take them into schools. Now it's more of a college age person. As retailers, we have an obligation to our communities to ensure we do not sell to our underage or to sell to underage buyers, intoxicated customers. And I think our track record shows that we've done a great job on that. Thank you, Council.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate your comment. I'm going to continue to leave you in the queue as well, if that's all right.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So phone number ending in 243. You should be able to unmute yourself. 243.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, council members. My name is Casey Schwint. I'm the manager of Ole's Country Stores number 2, and I'm also a mother of 2. In listening to Monday night's meeting, I believe there may have been some misunderstanding. Being parents and grandparents ourselves, we as retailers do not want these items in the hands of children. We send our employees through trainings, pay outside sources to do compliance checks, and have strict policies in place on carding, not because we have to, but because we take our role in this seriously. When we talk about this being a devastating loss of sales, we are not talking about the loss of sales from children buying these products, because we are doing everything in our power to prevent this, but the loss of sales from the legal age adult who knows the risk and makes the purchase of these items, willingly. These sales will be pushed outside the area of Missoula, and Missoula will lose that revenue. If these sales were to children, I would gladly take that loss, but they are not. One point in this measure that I 100% agree with is the removal of self-service in front of the counter tobacco placement. I believe this was already regulated back in 2009, but I guess that did not apply to all products. As for my next words, I say this with all due respect and general curiosity. With this issue being brought before Missoula City, how can the city commandeer the sales of these items in outlying areas? Is the city of Missoula told what to do by other cities and towns? Will the citizens of these areas now be allowed to vote in our city matters since the city is making decisions for them? I encourage you as city council members and concerned parties in support of this measure to work with us retailers to compromise or make an open discussion community forum. Let's work together. Remember, we're not the enemy in this, but the line of defense and prevention of underage consumption. Thank you for your time and consideration of my words. I will ask that at this time, the council votes no on this measure. This measure will not have the desired results. And if passed, when these children are still vaping, are you going to reverse what is a pointless ban? When there is unregulated black market items that cause more harm, what then? And that is all. Thank you, council.
Thank you, Casey. Just a point of clarification, this is an informational session. We are not voting on anything today. We are just engaging in community dialogue. Thank you for your comments. Next up, we have phone number ending in 396. Should be able to unmute, number ending in 396. Caller ending with the phone number ending 396, you should be allowed to unmute yourself. Okay. Potential technical difficulty there, so we will continue on and come back to you as needed. Next, we have Earl Allen. You should be able to unmute yourself and allow to talk.
Yes, good morning. And can everybody hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. Thanks for my thanks to you as the chair and the counselors. Good morning. Appreciate the opportunity to provide feedback. To make things a little different than what I said Monday night, I just want to expound on a couple of points. And I know I sent a couple of you some letters over the weekend, and I've also, talked to you folks. Counselor Harp was kind enough to come visit one of our stores. And I think, contrary to what we saw in the presentation from the health department the other night, I think I was able to demonstrate to Counselor Harp, and again, I invite any and all of you to come down and take a look at our stores. I'm the marketing manager for the Noon's Food Stores here in town. We've got one at the corner of Broadway and Madison, one at Russell and Mount, and one at 39th and Russell. When Counselor Harp was kind enough to come visit, I was able to show her that a lot of our candy items, I mean, we have candy items on the front counter. We have candy far away from the front counter. And I was able to show her that we don't have tobacco products on the front side of our counter. You know, you saw a couple of pictures in the presentation the other night. That's not us. You know, the other thing is we the very next thing I could show her too was our vapor section, our flavored tobacco, everything far behind the counter, not on the front of the counter, not on top of the counter. So I you know, what I've said to you before is I wish we could have been involved a little earlier, because I think you folks are a little behind the curve in good governance. You know, when I say things like having a concern about this ban pushing things outside the city limits or outside the donut law or even outside the county boundaries, you know, I've got some reasoning to back that up. I was able to find an example, and I sent it to a couple of you. You know, Duluth, Minnesota tried this same thing. It started in June. And one of my colleagues, you know, over there, he's also a city councilor for them, and he owns 4 convenience stores, 1 in Duluth and 3 around it. And he's been quoted in their media about how his store in Duluth lost 36% of its sales, and his stores outside of Duluth gained 42%. So it just pushes the market around. So we end up shoving customer bases around, and like Greg Tabish said earlier, you change traffic patterns, you change shopping patterns, you take away multiple things, you know, multiple sales from us and send them somewhere else. So when I talk about diminishing our customer base and our ability to I mean, this is not some, you know, mythical idea. It will decrease our budget for labor. It will decrease our ability to contribute back to the community. It's not some idea. It's math. It's when we don't have customers, we don't have budget. And I'm not trying to put profits over people, but it ends up being that. You know, that where we can't help people as much. So, you know, and I know you guys have heard this. We train people. We had people pass the compliance checks this weekend. You know, not to repeat myself, but one of our brand new employees passed one. One of our long-term employees passed one. They're getting a gift card. It's waiting for them to pick up. Had they failed them, they'd be getting a pink slip. So I really hope you. I'm glad we get to have this conversation. I think there's some misconceptions where there's a broad brush that's not going to help solve the problem, and it's going to create others. So I'll step back and let you hear from someone else.
Thank you, Mr. Allen. I will also leave you in the queue in case council members have questions for you.
Thank you much.
All right, Aaron Kiefler. You should be Aaron Kiefler.
Hi, can you hear me?
You can, yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And good morning to all of you members of City Council, and thanks for letting us have this time this morning. My name is Aaron Kiefler. I come at these issues as a convenience store manager. I've been in the business for over 13 years. I'm gonna just add a little bit to what I talked about on Monday night. I fully recognize the importance of keeping tobacco and vaping products out of the hands of children. My store is located between 2 high schools and near the university area. We work diligently to ID all customers who appear to be under the age of 30. Times are very tough right now, both for small business and for members of our community. I would like to address a couple more points from what I talked about on Monday. So I urge you to vote against this ordinance at this time. First, the customer base for these products at my store includes adults between the ages of 21 and 90. I have sold these products to adults in all walks of life, including doctors, lawyers, construction workers, coaches, athletes, veterans, both men and women, and most importantly, my neighbors in the neighborhood. At the city council meeting on Monday night, we heard people assuming that youth are gaining access to tobacco products by adults buying it for them. Do we have data on this? Does the council have this data? If adults are buying these products for youth, then the city should invest in a program to educate and reform or prosecute these careless adults, not ban the sale of the product. Second, these products are vetted and approved for the marketplace, in some case decades ago, and it's not responsible to ban these products at this time, given all the other challenges people in our community are facing. People rely on these products to help alleviate anxiety and often just to seek normalcy and comfort. Third, people have been using these products lawfully for some time now and have become accustomed to being able to access them. Disrupting this access suddenly could have adverse impacts that we can't fully anticipate. For instance, the use of black market products that are even less safe could become available and harder for us to manage and regulate. The ban could also steer tobacco users outside the city limits, and instead of walking a couple blocks to their neighborhood store, they would have to use fossil fuels to get to where they are able to purchase them. During this pandemic, the customers traveling also would be taking any health issues outside their normal environment and possibly increase the COVID-19 spread instead of slow it down. We need to think carefully about all the impacts this decision would have on our community. Fourth, I realize why parents and teachers and health experts are concerned about the impacts on youth. After all, I am the mother of two wonderful sons who grew up in this great town. I learned as a mother that it is crucial to teach your kids to make good choices because there are vices and temptations all around us throughout our lives, whether alcohol, tobacco, drugs, or even sugar. It seems more healthy and realistic to teach our youth to be aware of the need to make good choices and avoid illegal and unhealthy practices rather than to ask our city council to pass policies that create a purified and protected environment that is simply not realistic. Finally, yes, small businesses have become reliant on the revenue from these sales, and losing this income will mean people will lose jobs and businesses will close. Can we really afford that right now, given all the other challenges we are facing? Again, it's not the right timing to pass this ban on flavored tobacco. I hope you will consider these points and vote against this ordinance. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Erin. Okay, Carly, oh gosh, and it just went over. Schaefer should be able to unmute.
Perfect. Okay, hi guys, how are you doing? I talked the last couple times and I was the one who brought up, oh, I'm sorry, first of all, I'm Carly Schaefer. I'm the retail general manager for Great Western Petroleum. We have 3 stores that'll be impacted by this. And the thing that I was most concerned about, like I said, I work with the managers, I work the register even, we get to know our customers. And I was the one who talked about domestic abuse in the past and how people are being quarantined at home, people are getting laid off due to COVID and everything. And these kids can't escape to go to school since a lot of them have to be learning remotely and stuff. And like everybody else has said, the kids aren't getting these products from us. They're coming somewhere else. So I'm concerned for the parents, the adults that won't be able to have this, the ones that aren't just going to shift their business to other locations. And I'm worried about them taking it home to the kids. I do think we need to give it time too, since we just changed the age limit to 21. To see new statistics on that, because I think that right there is going to help a ton. I know that when I was in high school, that was when we're most vulnerable to being pressured into trying things. And it was always the high school seniors that could smoke and nobody would confront them because, well, they were of legal age. Now we got rid of that. Nobody is of legal age in high schools. You can confront them if you see or smell anything. Like I said, I think we just need to give it a little more time to see these new statistics, because I think that right there was the biggest thing in itself. And another thing, I'm a mother too, so that was really great to hear that when we raised the age limit. The other thing is that a lot of these people, if you tell them that they can't do something, but other people can, but they're not allowed to, it's just going to anger them. And in turn, they'll do something even more, just to throw it in your face. So some things to think about besides just shifting the business patterns. Thank you for hearing me out. Have a great day.
Thank you, Ms. Schaefer. Curtis Wilson, you should be here.
Good morning, council members.
Good morning.
I've been the general manager. My name is Curtis Wilson. I've been the general manager of Merle's Travel Plaza for nigh on a decade, and I have 3 small children. And I would like to talk about, as a veteran, that this bill really, or this ban really concerns me on a freedom standpoint, that our rights are being infringed upon. And I feel that this is just an unnecessary ban, especially during the times of COVID, with everything being difficult for all of our employees, for all of the people that are struggling during this time. I think that we have found satisfactory ways to address youth access to many adult products like alcohol and marijuana. So I ask, what is the difference between this particular set of products and other products that are very similar? But I just wanted to say that this ban will only hurt Missoula businesses during an already difficult time, forcing our customers to go elsewhere. But thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Wilson. And Bobby Guyman from Jays. Should I let Jan? Bobby?
Good morning. Excuse me. My name is Bobby Goman. I'm the owner of Jay's in town. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk. I would like to say that we are doing every right thing to sell tobacco products in a good way, like, according to the laws. There's no way we're selling to the minors. We don't even sell lighters. We card them for the lighters even. Just the other day, I was behind the counter. One of my clerks, he had a young kid. He wanted to buy a lighter, and he asked him, "Do you have ID?" He said, "Oh, you have to have be 21 for this." And we said yes, and he left. I don't think this is a solution for this, because banning flavored tobacco in the city, it's not gonna reach our goal. Our goal is that minors should not have the ability to get those products. Maybe we should team up. And I think my fellow workers, like my industry people, they would also agree with me. With the city council members, bring us in with you, let's team up, let's educate kids. Maybe we can go to the high schools and all that, and do something which will help. This will only divert the revenue of the city to somewhere else outside the limits. It's not the solution. The kids still gonna get it. I think we all want our kids to be not addicted to all this stuff when they're not of age. And we need to find the solution, the right solution for it. So I would urge all of the council members to please say no to this. Thank you for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you, Mr. Guyman. I will leave you in the queue in case any members have questions for you specifically. All right. Okay, so we have and phone number ending in 642. Did I get you in here? Oh, 642. Phone number ending in 642. You should be unmuted.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Sarah Curley. I'm a store manager for Noon's Food Stores, and I oppose the ban on flavored tobacco because it would result in reduced sales and revenue for local businesses that receive a lot of their income from tobacco sales and flavored tobacco in particularly. We would also lose sales from customers coming in to purchase additional products in addition to their tobacco. We have a lot of people that'll come in and they'll buy their tobacco, and while they're here, they'll just get a Coke or some paper towels for the house because it's convenient. Without us having the product that they actually came here for, they're going to take their business for those other products elsewhere as well.
either to other stores or across county lines. That would reduce wages and jobs for people that are employed by our businesses. Businesses do already spend a lot of money training employees on how to sell these products and how to sell them legally to people of legal age. We take that seriously. Everything is kept behind the counter. Anybody that comes in asking to purchase these products requires to show ID. We scan all of the IDs and make sure that everything is valid before they're even placed in the hands of the customer. So it's not local retailers that are putting these products in the hands of the youth. It's the youth that is obtaining them by illegal means. And they're going to continue to do that regardless of if there is a ban in place or not. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so we're getting down to the last couple, and we have about 25 minutes left in council committee today. I want to give council members an opportunity to ask questions. I see Ms. Jones has one. Ms. Vasica would like to talk about some stuff, and then we do need to hear from basic public comment. So for those last two folks, I'm about to let in. If you could keep your comments brief, if you could add something that hasn't already been said, this is your opportunity. But if you could keep your comments brief, that would allow council members a chance to further have discussion with the folks who have joined, and then we will give an opportunity for those to have public comment. So Joel, oh gosh, I just covered over your last name. Hershett. Joel, or did you find my screen?
Morning, Councilman. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, my name's Joel Hoykert, and I manage out here in Frenchie's convenience store in Frenchtown. And I believe a lot of the great points have already been made. I'm just kind of keeping going with them. I have also been a coach out here with sporting teams and such, basketball and football. And we work as a manager and as a coach for sure, but for sure as a manager, I've worked hand in hand with the Frenchtown school, making sure that we keep alcohol and tobacco out of the hands of high school kids. And we've done that for every year that I've been out here. And we really take that seriously. My staff takes it seriously. I've had people watch adults when they buy even tobacco and watch and make sure that they're not taking it out to a car of young people on the side of the building. So we take it very seriously. All these businesses, we all take this very seriously. We're just wanting to not take the business out of the hands of the, of the adult, take the adults, the business from the adults. And that's what our also our concern is too. So both, it's, that hand in hand with that. But, we do take it seriously. We take our training seriously. We make sure that our staff is fully trained with the compliance. And so I do not support this ban, and I hope that you guys all vote against it. And thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Joel. Okay, so I want to be mindful of time here and give council members an opportunity to ask questions. So I'm going to move to that portion now. Mr. Longcake, if there is a ever so brief summary you would like to make, this is your opportunity, but know that you're cutting into the time for questions for council members. So.
Yes, I will be extremely short. I think you've heard a number of reasons why this is an issue. I think the biggest thing that if I could just summarize quickly is that we're the frontline defense. We spend lots and lots of dollars to ensure that our employees do the best that they can. I don't think any business would argue that they try to protect the community and the underage individuals. And regardless of the dollars that are lost or not, people are going to move to the path of least resistance. And so I think with that, look at your own selves. If something pushes back, you just go to where it's easier to get. And I think this would be what you would see happening here. I'm going to summarize at that. I think people have made good points, and I will let the council members ask questions. Thank you again for the time.
Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so Ms. Jones, you've had your hand up for a while, so I will let you take this opportunity to answer your question.
Thank you. And I wanted to thank everyone in the industry who has come this morning. It's an early meeting and I appreciate you spending your time. I have spoken with some tobacco shop owners over the last month or two and certainly have done a lot of research. And so I feel like a lot of counselors are focusing intently on this issue, and I'm glad you could bring your voices this morning. I guess the question, and I'm hoping to ask Mr. Longcake, but if other people have thoughts also, that's great, since Mr. Longcake appears to be the leader. But what I'm trying to get at is, I think there is a situation where this is a legal product, but it is also causing some great damage and harm to our youth in Missoula in terms of the flavored vaping products specifically. I want to focus just on that issue. And I want, as I've looked at it, I do agree with the statement that I think a lot of youth are obtaining it by illegal means. And, you know, I was a youth once too, and teenagers are smart and they're wily, and they're going to figure out sometimes how to get what they want. Which is, that's the stage of development that they are in. I get that. But we have a situation where if everyone is nonetheless following the rules and yet we're having this bad end product, we need to focus on what else needs to be done. And I appreciate that the FDA changed the legal age from 18 to 21 last December. But the CDC did a big 2-month-long study in 2020 and found that instead of 1 in 4 teenagers using tobacco, 1 in 5 were. So it helped, but it certainly did not solve the problem. So we also have an issue where a lot, I think in Missoula, a lot of these products are now behind the counter, perhaps not all, but many. So we've done what we can from that perspective, but we still have this issue where so many youths are vaping flavored vape juices. So I guess my question is, if we don't have a situation where the federal or state government is handling this from the top down, it's not the best alternative to have it piecemeal on a local jurisdiction basis, but something needs to be done, because 1 in 5 youth using tobacco, and a very small amount of that is chew and snooze. Most of it's products and vaping. Something's going on. So what does the industry propose as a solution to this? Because I agree, we should get legal products into the hands of those who can legally buy them, but something's going wrong. And the internet is probably a very big factor. But as we saw with all of the students going online for the last few months in school, a lot of kids in Montana still don't have access to the internet. So what are your recommendations or suggestions or ideas? That's a long question, but I wanted to put it all out there.
Brad, you should be able to still unmute if you're.
Okay. Yes. So thank you for your question. That there's a lot of pieces to that question, I would have to say. I guess let me start from the top down at what the federal government has been working on. Obviously, we've changed the age from 18 to 21. I think that's going to make a significant impact. And unfortunately, we haven't had enough time to really see that. But what I'm drawing my conclusions are, if you look at an 18-year-old in high school now versus a 21 freshman, sophomore in college, I feel like there's a disconnect now between that access point. If you look at the products that you described, as an example would be from the health department's tutorial that they brought on Monday, one of the products, Puff Bar, is no longer available, period, from the manufacturer. So what the federal government is doing is they're eliminating these products right at the manufacturer level, so that there are no products coming out to distributors, wholesalers, and then down to the convenience store. You'd mentioned the internet. I think e-commerce is a huge issue in general, not just to mention with the tobacco side of it. My oldest son is a freshman in high school here in town, and we actually had a very lengthy discussion after our meeting on Monday about, is he seeing it in schools? How are individuals getting it? Where is it coming from? Do you understand why it's not good to do? And to be honest with you, he's scared, or the individuals are scared to go to an establishment where they run the risk of being carded or identified or getting in trouble. They're obviously getting these items from other locations. And I think that's the biggest challenge, is that if you talk to any of our marketers, we do the best that we can with what we can see. We have our process in place. We have our video cameras that we try to monitor and check. We definitely work on secondary sales if it's anywhere close to the buildings. But at the same time, I think there has to be a little bit of onus back on these individuals and or people that are providing it to these children. I mean, there are a number of stories as to who and where and why they're getting them. But I think at the end of the day, we really have to try to come up with something where we can work together. I think there are some opportunities where we can continue to still provide these products so that we can have good choices. But in terms of a solution to your question, I definitely think that we could put these products behind the counters everywhere to ensure that there is no access, that kids don't have the ability to accidentally grab something, and to really ramp up. Somebody had mentioned getting some more information to the schools. I mean, I think there's other components, for enforcement, just to ensure that we don't sell to these 21-year-old or kids under 21. And then if an adult is caught doing that they have a penalty. I mean, we have to have a little bit of onus on these individuals as well that are doing these. I mean, I think there are a number of solutions that we could come up with, and it's something I think that all of our retailers are willing to sit down with the council to come up with a solution.
Thank you for that. Ms. Merritt.
Hi there. I first of all, I wanted to say that thank you guys for taking the time. There's been a lot of information put out there. This is not about us trying to legislate dangerous activities. So this is about the predatory marketing and targeting of our youth with products to get them addicted to nicotine. That's the sole purpose of USB-shaped flavored vaping products. There's no reason to make that product except to target our youth to try and get them hooked. So making a comparison to that we should outlaw dancing because someone might get hurt is, we're not even on the same continent, okay? I think that is really offensive to make that comparison. Also, the number about 30% of sales has been out there often. So I have a question of, is that the convenience stores run the gamut from, huge places like the truck stop out at Bonner to little places that are, maybe 100 square feet or a couple hundred square feet. And I can't imagine that the 30% is the same for those various different sizes of stores. So what I'd like to know is that 30% of all tobacco and nicotine related product sales? Or are you really selling 30% of your products are flavored tobacco and vaping products? So that's one question. And then the other question is, the health department showed us a picture that was dated October 7th of 2020, taken at a Missoula area convenience store where tobacco products were on the front of the counter. So somebody in the Missoula area is still having tobacco products on the front of the counter. So I would like, for all of the folks that are on this call, is there anyone here who is still putting the tobacco products out on the front of the counter? So those are my two questions. Is the 30% really total tobacco sales or actually flavored tobacco products? And who still has their products out on the front of the counter?
Thanks for that, Ms. Merritt. Okay, I actually had the same question, and I do believe it was Dan from Town Pump who was one of the first ones to talk about the 30%. So in an effort to sort of control who might start chiming in, Dan, if you wouldn't mind hopping on, answering that question, because I have the same question. I would like to know 30%, is that exactly what Ms. Merritt said? You know, is that all tobacco? Is that flavored tobacco? If it's all tobacco, what percent, break down the percentages if you're able to of, traditional cigarettes, chew, and then these OTC, kind of, which is, the alternative different, vaping products. So Dan, I think you should still be able to unmute yourself if you're so kind to join us and answer. Okay, I see that you're on here. Your phone number ends in 208, but you might be away from your computer at the point in time. So does anyone want to take on that question of the folks who have joined us who are still in the queue? Mr. Longcake, do you want to?
Hello?
Oh, hi,
Can you guys
Dan,
hear
there
me
you
now?
are. Yep.
Sorry, I didn't realize we had to press *6. I kept on raising my hand.
Oh, sorry.
So I think the focus on the 30% revenue does kind of illustrate many misunderstandings on this. Is no, 30% of our revenue is not these flavored products. 30% of revenue is calculations from those extra products that our consumers buy: gas, soda, beer, donations to the food bank. We collect thousands and thousands of dollars every week for local food banks, and that money does come back to our food banks. So the 30% of revenue is a little bit of a calculation of the extra business that would be lost as well. Does that cover that?
It does.
That portion. And then you had a question on self-service as well, right?
She did, yes.
Okay. So I imagine I'm not on video, so I can't see what counters we're taking pictures of for self-service. Yes, we do have a few areas where self-service is still in our stores. However, over the next week, that's being converted, because that's just something that, it makes sense to us that would be something that we would need to do. I'm taking measurements and everything for it this week, so we are eliminating that at our Town Pump locations in the city. Does that answer your question?
Ms. Merritt is shaking her head in affirmative.
Okay.
Ms. Cheryl, could we have 5 minutes of Parks and Conservation?
Yeah, I think that'll be fine.
Okay, folks, it is 9:42. We're going to go till 9:50. I know Ms. Vasica and Mr. Nugent are on the line. I'm wondering, I don't know if we're going to be able to sort out the full legality of all of this in the few minutes left in this. Ms. Vasica, do you want to ask your questions so they're on the record, and then allow for Mr. Nugent to follow up with an email so you have that information before Monday night?
I would very much like to say this on the record. Thank you for the opportunity to do so. In February, we received a legal opinion from Mr. Nugent saying that according to Montana Code Annotated 2019 Title 16, Chapter 11, Part 3, which is the Youth Access to Tobacco Products Control Act, a local government may not ordinance adopt regulations, or may by ordinance adopt regulations that are no more stringent than the provisions of the Youth Access to Tobacco Products Control Act. Outright banning these items is way more stringent than the Youth Access to Tobacco Products Control Act. I did notice that in the presentation that something was mentioned about no longer allowing these products to be sold via vending machine. It's already illegal to sell these products via vending machine. And honestly, I already thought it was illegal to sell these products in front of the counter. But regardless, this is an emotional issue, but take emotions out of this. legally, we cannot do this. And according to the oath that we took on the Constitution of the United States, we have to act in accordance with state law. So I think that we should take this off the table, bring it back to, take it off the final vote, bring it back to committee, and so we can discuss it, because there are other ways to do this than outright banning it altogether. And if we do this, it really opens us up to a serious litigation, and it takes into my question of everybody's oath that they took.
Okay, so Mr. Nugent is on the line. He's listening. I look forward to his legal opinion as the city attorney on this topic that will be added to the record for folks to see. Okay, with the 6 minutes we have left, I am going to go to public comment. And oh, wait, Miss Cheryl had her hand up. I will let Miss Cheryl quickly answer her question, hopefully get a quick response, go to public comment. So if you have public comment that you have not made before, I know there was a gentleman who graciously at the very beginning waited to the end. We are going to try to end this in the next 6 minutes, but like I said, there's many ways at the beginning of the meeting to continue the dialogue around this. So Miss Cheryl.
Okay, I'm going to be very brief then. First of all, I just appreciate everyone's time coming today to discuss this. You know, we heard some numbers that I think it was somewhere between 3 to 4% of high schoolers are reporting getting this online right now, yet it's still epidemic proportions. So those numbers in my mind are not making sense. But the thing I really want to drill down on is this 30% of sales, because I was under a different impression on Monday of what number was being quoted. So are we talking about tobacco? I mean, I'm hearing now that maybe it's gas and chips and paper towels and everything else. I would like to see some numbers, I think, on what I believe Ms. Merritt and Ms. Anderson were talking about, like what is the percent of your sales? And I understand that there are add-on sales, you know, and that is absolutely a real thing. But are from flavored tobacco products. I would like to see some numbers around that for localities. I'll end there since we're running out of time.
Great. And I do see Mr. Tabish from Western Petroleum has his hand up, so he may be able to answer that question quickly before we go to public comment. If not to put you on the spot for that, but just make
okay.
that
Okay, can everybody hear me?
We can.
Okay, what we came up with is, it is true. Tobacco sales is a percentage of our inside sales is around 30%. That's the whole tobacco category. Of that 30%, moist tobacco, which is your Copenhagens and Skulls, and Zin and others moist tobacco, 3/4, 75% of those sales are considered flavor by your proposed ordinance. Cigarellos and tip cigarellos, which are all behind the counter non-self-serve, is almost 100%. Traditional tobacco, which are your cigarettes, your menthols, all that stuff, is about 50%. And the vapes would be 100% as defined by the ordinance. And those are as close as we could get by doing our homework.
Okay, so I'm just going to clarify what you just said, because originally those numbers were not adding up. So tobacco sales as a whole general of your business is 30%.
Yes.
Within that category, if you think of just the flavors,
yes,
75% of chew or moist tobaccos are flavored.
Yes.
And 100% of vaping is flavored. And
Yes.
50% of, I would, if you could,
50, go ahead.
50% of cigarettes are flavored, such as menthol.
Yes.
Okay. I think what I'm curious, and I'm going to take a guess that Miss Cheryl is curious. We are curious of the 30% of tobacco sales. What percentage of that is vaping products, cigarello products? I mean,
vapes make up about 5% of our total cigarette sales in that category.
Okay.
More, some stores could be more, some stores could be less, but in our six stores in our chain, that's about what we're coming up with. I will verify those, but vapes are a very small portion of our sales. Now, again, I'm not speaking for vape shops. I'm not speaking for other retailers, but you know, with 6 stores as being a cross section of the sales, that is a small percentage, but I will verify those.
Great. Thank you so much. Miss Cheryl, so you took off your
Yeah,
phone?
thanks. I realize we're kind of tight here and we can do some of this on Monday night as well. But in that, so 30% of your store's revenues are from tobacco products is what you're saying. And that's including
Correct.
gas,
In-store sales. In-store sales.
In-store sales. So not including gas, but including chips and drinks and alcohol and
exactly.
Whatever. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. And then I think I can do the numbers on the rest of these. Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
Okay. Mrs. You guys see that you raised, did I forget to lower your hand from earlier?
No, just really quick. He made a good point. If 100% of vaping products are flavored, like if you have a tobacco flavored vaping product, that's still flavored. So this is essentially taking off 100% of vapor products off of the market. I just wanted to get that clear.
Yep.
Okay.
You're muted, Stacy.
Thank you. Sorry. The garbage truck just went by. For those store owners who are on the line and would be so willing to share, I would be very interested if you could email us the breakdown, just like Mr. Tabish gave us, of your in-store sales, tobacco, and within the tobacco category line item, the breakdown amongst that. I have to go to public comment. I definitely want to get the gentleman whose phone number ended in 665. He graciously bowed out at the very beginning, so I want to give him the opportunity to public comment. And then I think that's going to be it. So phone number ending in 665, I think you should be able to unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm unmuted. My name is Thomas Bryant, and I'm the Executive Director and Legal Counsel for NATO, the National Association of Tobacco Outlets. I did send a letter to the City Council and the City Attorney last week, and then testified at Monday's hearing that the ordinance is preempted by Montana state law. My legal analysis of the state law preemption provision coincides with the Missoula City Attorney's conclusions in his legal opinion memo. Since a flavor ban is more restrictive than Montana state law, the Montana legislature has precluded a city council from enacting a flavor ban ordinance. That would be the extent of my comments. Thank you.
Okay, folks, we have run over, we've eaten into Parks and Conservation, so I am going to end this. But for those folks who did not get an opportunity to give public comment, please feel free to send us your comments and email at council@ci.missoula.mt.us. Also, you can leave us a voicemail. This phone number goes out to all of us. It's 406-552-6012. So please get us your comments, and we will be taking this item up again on Monday night at our City Council meeting. Thank you all for your time, your comments, and Ms. Cheryl for letting us eat into a few minutes of Parks and Conservation. With that,